Hello everybody, I'm Sharpened Blade, and today I'm going to do an assembly and my first impressions of the AD20.5 from Demko knives. So what we have here is the shark lock. How that works is this lever moves back and forth on this spring. So it's fairly simple, but I can see how there's a lot of work being done to get this to work. There's a lot of milling and stuff in here to make sure everything fits perfectly. So I can see why it's a bit more expensive to produce. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward. When I took this apart, it all flew apart. So anyways, I think I got everything back in working order again. So we'll just get this back together and then I'll give you some first impressions. We'll lube everything up here. Not use that one, I'll use this. How thick is that? No. I was wondering, I have some skiff bearings. I was going to put skiff bearings in it now instead of having to take it apart again later, because there's a lot of movement on these bearings. So if I can get, I know people have put skiffs in, so I'll find out what size I should use and maybe put some that doesn't move so much, because there's a lot of movement in there. Let's see here. So that goes on there, like so. How does that? Whoa! That went flying. That was crazy. So that goes up on top like that. And let's put this back in here again. Hopefully that doesn't fly out of there. Again, that was scary. And we'll put this, I'll put some on here like so, and then we'll put some on here like so, and then we'll put this on here like so, and spin it around like so. And then we'll put this on here so the spring can't kill me. That fits on very nicely. It goes together very easily. And I apologize for the awkward angle. I have to do it this way because my camera stand is too wide. I can't do it the other way and be behind the camera. It's easier for me, but it might be more upside down for you guys. So I apologize if you don't like this, but this is how it's going to be. So I'll just put this in here. Like so. Do 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 do. Try not to tighten these down too much until I get the pivot screw in. And I'll go back and tighten them up again afterwards. They had a little bit of thread locker or Loctite on the blue stuff on the screws here, so it I don't know if I'll put any more on or not, but I don't think it's necessary right now. Okay, so tighten that up, and then yeah, let's tighten. Okay, that's about as tight as I would ever want it to be. So let's tighten these up. Okay. Oh wow, oh, this is different. Okay, so it's really off center. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Oh yes, there. It wasn't there. Now it's. I didn't have it tight enough. Oh, that's very tight. so that's too tight. Okay, I'm going to mess around with this for a little bit because that's probably all been off camera. I apologize. So I'm going to mess around with this a little bit, see how I can get the action going, and then I'll be back with first impressions. Stay tuned. Alright, so first impressions. I gotta say, very positive first impressions of this knife. I've been enjoying it a lot. Very fun to fidget with. Now I considered carrying this left-handed because this is an ambidextrous knife. And they send an extra clip, you know, because this one's basically made for the right-hand side. It doesn't go over to the left-hand side. So they include a left-hand clip. So I was going to carry this left-handed, but I decided not to because I fidget with my right hand and I cut with my left hand, and I fidget with my knives more than I cut with my knives. So I kept it right-handed, and it also just feels more comfortable in my left hand without that clip on this side. So I just kept it this way. The design, overall design, I like the design of it a lot. It's very knifey looking. It's a knifey looking knife. So you can't complain about that. I do like the look of this more so than the shark's foot, which is odd because I really like sheep's foot knives and Warncliffe knives. I've liked those usually better than clip points or drop points, but I do like the look of this on this knife better. However, I think I would rather have a shark's foot just because my daily EDC tasks are primarily cutting cardboard, like for paint boxes and stuff. So a shark's foot would work better. So I may sell this and buy a shark's foot, or I may sell this and buy an AD20 if I can. It might not even be possible for me to buy one, but I'm going to try to because I love the shark lock. I absolutely love that lock. It's very, very fidget friendly, and I love fidgeting with my knives. Plus, that sound is awesome. I love that sound. And I can only imagine how awesome it sounds with like titanium scales on there. So hopefully in the future I can get an AD20. But for now this is going to scratch that itch for me for the shark lock. But yeah, very positive first impressions. I really like this knife. It's nice and slicey. It cuts through cardboard very easily. It came really sharp, had no problem cutting through paper. This is made in the same factory as cold steel knives, so it makes sense. Cold steel usually does an excellent job with their heat treat and with their edges, so yeah. Now, speaking of that, I know some people don't like the AUS 10A. I don't have enough experience with this to comment either way. However, I have no problem with paying $150 USD for this knife, because I enjoy fidgeting with it that much, and I enjoy the sound of it that much, that it's worth every penny to me. So anyway, you can reverse flick it very easily. You can thumb flick it. You can use the lock to flick it. It's just a really fidgety knife. Now, ergos are good. They're solid in my left hand. In my right hand, not so much. I don't know why. Probably just my hands are more arthritically challenged. Like my right hand is more so than my left hand, so I think that's the biggest reason. I'm just more used to holding a knife and cutting with my left hand. But I will say that this finger choil right here is a little small. I think if you have really big hands, you may, I know you can choke up here, but you may have problems fitting one of your fingers in here. For me, I wear a medium-sized glove. For me, that fits perfect, whether you choke up or whether you're back here. But keep that in mind. If you have big hands, you might have a bit of issue with this choil. They probably could have either made that bigger or just not have this little point here. Anyways, that's just a little thing to keep in mind. It doesn't make or break the knife, I don't think, but something to keep in mind. But yeah, right now that's pretty much all I have to say about the knife. I'll get into more details in the review of the knife. But I will. One other thing is the edges on the shark lock itself. Is that gonna focus enough here? Are you gonna focus? Come on, focus, buddy. Okay, this focus is probably about as much as you can get. The edges on here are very square, so you can. It kind of, if you fidget with it a lot. I noticed that when I was fidgeting with it, because I fidget with it all the time, after a while, the jimping plus those edges being square like that really does start to irritate the tip of your finger a bit, or the tip of my finger. The jimping's not the problem, it's the edges of here. They could have just kind of chamfered them a little bit, and that wouldn't be such a, not even a hot spot, just a issue. It's not even that big of a deal. But, again, just something to keep in mind. Overall, though, very impressive knife. I do like it. I wish the materials were a little bit better. I don't mind the AD20.5 because Cold Steel, or, the Cold Steel factory, usually does a good job with their heat treat. But I wish it was something other than FRN on the scales. However, this is nice FRN. I wish it was G10 even at least, but it does feel good in hand. The texturing is nice on it. It doesn't feel super cheap. But anyways, my battery's about to die. So I think I'll end it here. Those are my first impressions. Very positive first impressions. I'll have a review of this hopefully next week. I'll do some more testing with it. See if I can decide whether or not I like the AD20.5 or not. But, for my cutting tasks, I'm sure it'll be fine. But anyways, keep an eye out for the review. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.